All right, so we're getting you ready for a digital prototyper interview.
Yeah.
And we're going to do a deep dive into RoleCatcher's resources to help you totally crush it.
Awesome.
We've got career guides, interview guides, even some cool AI tricks.
Mm-hmm.
So think of this deep dive as your secret weapon.
I like it.
Not just to answer those questions, but really to understand what this career is all about.
That's a great point.
Before we jump into those interview questions,
Okay.
let's paint a picture of what a digital prototyper does.
Right.
Imagine a designer hands you a sketch,
Okay.
this burst of creative energy, right?
Uh-huh.
And you have to translate that into a digital blueprint.
Okay.
So you're basically a tech-savvy fashion wizard bringing these clothes to life in the virtual world before they ever hit a sewing machine.
That's a cool way to think about it.
Right.
Yeah. The RoleCatcher Career Guide
Uh-huh.
actually uses the phrase bridge between creativity and production.
I like that.
And I think it's really apt
Yeah.
because you're working with designers, manufacturers, and technology that's always changing.
Absolutely. All right. That's the big picture.
Okay.
Now let's zoom in on some of those interview questions.
Okay. Sounds good.
The interview guide is packed with them.
Yeah.
So we're going to tackle a few of the important ones right now.
Okay.
Imagine you're sitting across from the hiring manager
Mm-hmm.
and they ask, walk us through your process for creating digital prototypes.
Oh, that's a good one.
Where do you even begin?
This is your chance to shine.
Yeah.
Don't just give them a list of steps.
Okay.
Tell a story about a challenging project.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there was a complex design that really tested your skills.
Yeah.
The guide emphasizes storytelling.
Oh, that's good.
So think about what software you used, how you collaborated with others, and
Yeah.
how you overcame any obstacles.
So it's like showing them you can handle the heat.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Speaking of problem solving, another question they might ask you is, can you explain how you work with developers to ensure your prototypes are accurately implemented?
Interesting.
This seems like a tricky one because it involves collaboration
It is tricky.
with another team.
And that's exactly why they're asking it.
All
They
right.
want to see that you understand the development process.
Uh-huh.
Explain how you provide those developers with super detailed design specs.
Yeah.
How you troubleshoot any issues that come up.
Mm-hmm.
And how you make sure the final product matches the design perfectly.
Huh?
It's all about communication and teamwork.
So it's not enough to be a tech whiz.
Right.
You need to be a team player.
Absolutely.
Right.
Now here's a question that might seem a little unexpected.
Okay.
How do you ensure your prototypes are accessible to users with disabilities?
This one really stood out to me too.
Yeah.
Why is accessibility such a big deal in digital prototyping?
Because fashion should be for everyone.
I like that.
Employers want to know that you're thinking about inclusivity from the start. This is where mentioning those WTAG and Section 508 standards can really make an impression.
I have to admit,
Yeah.
those acronyms sound a little intimidating.
They do sound kind of jargony.
Can you break them down for us?
Of course, WCAG stands for Web Content Accessibility Guidelines.
Okay.
Think of it as a set of rules for making digital content accessible to people with disabilities.
Okay.
And Section 508 is a U.S. law
Okay.
that requires federal agencies to make their electronic and information technology accessible
To people with
to
disabilities.
people with disabilities, exactly.
So by mentioning these,
Yeah.
you're showing the interviewer
Mm-hmm.
that you're not just focused on making things look pretty.
Right.
You're also thinking about making them usable for everyone.
Precisely.
Right.
It shows a commitment to inclusive design.
Mm-hmm.
And don't be surprised
Yeah.
if they follow up with something like,
Okay.
can you describe a specific instance where you incorporated accessibility features into a prototype?
Ooh, that's good.
Yeah. Be ready with a real-world example.
Okay.
Did you add alt text to images for screen readers?
Okay.
Did you ensure keyboard navigation worked flawlessly?
So, yeah,
Show, don't tell.
exactly. Now brace yourself for this next one
Okay.
because it's a classic.
All right.
Can you give an example of a complex project you worked on and how you overcame any challenges in the prototyping phase?
So it sounds like this requires more than just technical know-how.
It does.
It's about showcasing your problem-solving skills,
Mm-hmm.
your resilience.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
Choose a project that really put your abilities to the test.
Okay.
Explain the hurdles you faced,
Mm-hmm.
the steps you took to clear them,
Yeah.
what you learned along the way.
Uh-huh.
Don't be afraid to get into the nitty-gritty details.
Okay.
Talk about the software you used, the decisions you made,
Yeah.
and how you collaborated with others.
So it's all about proving you can think on your feet
Yeah.
and find solutions when things get tough, Exactly.
Speaking of tough,
Okay.
let's face it, the fashion industry.
Mm-hmm.
It's known for demanding deadlines and intense workloads.
Yeah, that's true.
The career guide even mentions long hours being part of the deal.
Right.
So how do you address that in an interview
Mm-hmm.
when they inevitably ask?
Right.
Can you talk about a time when you had to prioritize multiple projects with competing deadlines?
Honesty and strategy are key here.
Okay.
Pick a real situation
Mm-hmm.
where you successfully juggled multiple projects
Yeah.
and highlight your prioritization skills.
Yeah.
Did you use specific tools or techniques to stay organized?
Okay.
Did you communicate proactively with stakeholders?
Mm-hmm.
This is where you demonstrate that you can handle the pressure
Yeah.
and deliver results.
Even when things get hectic.
Exactly.
So it's almost like they're trying to get a glimpse into your organizational superpowers.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Right.
Yeah.
While we're on the topic of challenges, let's not forget about budgets.
Mm.
Resources aren't always unlimited.
Nope.
So how would you answer the question?
Yeah.
How do you approach working on a project with limited resources or a tight budget?
This is where resourcefulness comes into play.
Okay.
This is your chance to shine as a creative problem solver.
Mm-hmm.
Think of a time when you had to make the most of what you had.
Okay.
Did you find a clever workaround?
Uh-huh.
Did you repurpose existing materials?
Mm-hmm.
Did you streamline your workflow to maximize efficiency?
Okay.
The key is to emphasize your ability to think outside the box and deliver high-quality results even with constraints.
So it's all about showing them that you're adaptable and can thrive in any environment.
Exactly.
Right.
Before we move on,
Okay.
I want to highlight something that can really give you a leg up in this process.
Oh, yeah. Let's talk about that.
RoleCatcher's AI-powered features.
It's not just about knowing the answers.
Right.
It's about tailoring them to this specific role in company.
That's where RoleCatcher's AI becomes your secret weapon.
Okay.
Imagine inputting your experience,
Yeah.
and the AI suggests ways to highlight the specific skills this employer is looking for.
Okay, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
But how does it actually work?
Mm-hmm.
Does it write the answers for you?
Not exactly.
Okay.
It analyzes your responses, suggests improvements, and even helps you identify keywords that resonate with the job description.
Okay.
It's about refining your answers, making sure they hit all the right notes.
So it's like having a virtual editor for your interview responses?
Exactly.
That's amazing.
We've covered a lot of ground in this first part of our deep dive.
We have.
But there's still so much more to explore.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome back to our deep dive into the world of digital prototyping. Before we jump into the next round of interview questions, I wanted to highlight one of the key takeaways from the RoleCatcher Career Guide: the importance of continuous learning.
You're right. This field is constantly evolving.
Yeah.
New software, new techniques, new trends popping up all the time. It's a whirlwind.
It can be. And that's why interviewers often ask, how do you stay up to date with the latest design trends and technology?
Makes sense.
They want to see that you're not just keeping up. You're actively seeking out new knowledge and pushing the boundaries.
So how do you answer that?
Yeah.
Without sounding generic?
Right.
I read articles.
Right.
Doesn't quite cut it.
No, it doesn't. Be specific.
Good.
Mention blogs, podcasts, online courses, conferences you follow, maybe even name drop a specific technology that you're excited about.
Right.
The guide even suggests showcasing a personal project where you experimented with something cutting edge.
So it's all about showing that you're passionate about learning and growing.
Exactly. Now let's shift gears to a question that can really throw people off. Right.
Can you talk about a time when you received feedback on a prototype that you initially disagreed with?
Oof.
Yeah.
I can relate to that.
It's tough.
Yeah, when you've poured your heart into something
Yeah.
and someone critiques it.
But here's the thing. This question isn't really about the feedback itself.
Okay.
It's about how you handle it.
Okay.
They want to see that you can take constructive criticism, adapt, and ultimately improve your work.
So it's more about professionalism and collaboration than being right or wrong.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Describe the situation.
Okay.
Emphasize how you listened to the feedback. Considered it objectively.
Okay.
Maybe even came around to seeing its value.
Yeah.
Did it lead to a better design? Did it strengthen your collaboration with the team?
The guide also has some great tips.
Yeah.
For handling feedback in the moment, like
Mhm.
asking clarifying questions
Yeah.
instead of getting defensive.
It's about turning a potentially negative experience
Yeah.
into a positive learning opportunity.
Right. And remember, RoleCatcher's AI can help you craft your response to this question.
Oh, yeah.
It can analyze your wording,
Uh-huh.
suggest ways to highlight your flexibility,
Okay.
openness to feedback,
Mm-hmm.
and even ensure you're using the kind of language
Good.
this particular employer values.
That's pretty cool.
It's like having a behind-the-scenes look
Yeah.
at what the interviewer is looking for.
Now let's talk about the future.
Okay.
The career guide outlines some pretty exciting growth paths for digital prototypers.
Yeah.
What does that look like?
Well, you might start by focusing on specific software or techniques,
Okay.
becoming the go-to expert in, say,
Yeah.
3D garment simulation or digital pattern grading.
Uh-huh.
As you gain experience, you could lead teams,
Okay.
mentor junior staff,
Yeah.
and even influence the company's overall digital strategy.
Oh.
The possibilities are vast.
That's what I love about this field.
Yeah.
There's always room to grow and specialize.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just a job, it's a career path.
Exactly. And speaking of career paths,
Okay.
let's loop back to one of RoleCatcher's most impressive AI features.
All right.
Its ability to personalize your interview prep
Uh-huh.
based on your experience level,
Okay.
whether you're just starting out
Yeah.
or aiming for a senior role.
Mm-hmm.
RoleCatcher can tailor its guidance to your specific goals.
So if I'm a newbie,
Yeah.
it'll help me highlight my eagerness to learn.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm a seasoned pro,
Yeah.
it'll help me showcase my leadership skills.
Exactly. It's like having a customized roadmap for your interview success.
Now, before we wrap up part 2,
Yeah.
there's one question I've always wondered about.
Okay.
Is it ever okay
Yeah.
to talk about salary expectations in the interview?
That's a tricky one.
Yeah.
The guide suggests being prepared to discuss your salary range
Uh,
if the interviewer brings it up.
crap.
But it's generally best to wait for a later stage in the process. Mm-hmm.
You want to focus on showcasing your skills
Yeah.
and passion for the role first.
It's about demonstrating your value
Exactly.
before getting into the nitty-gritty of numbers.
Exactly.
We've covered so much ground in the second part of our deep dive, from handling tough questions to exploring career paths.
Yes.
And we've just scratched the surface of what RoleCatcher's AI can do
Right.
to help you ace that interview. Welcome back to the deep dive. We're in the final stretch of our journey to help you ace that digital prototyper interview.
Yeah.
We've broken down those tough questions, mapped out those career paths,
Right.
and even unlocked the power of RoleCatcher's AI.
Exactly.
Now it's all about landing that perfect finishing touch.
It is.
So imagine you've made it through the tough questions. You've shown off your skills. You've even impressed them with your knowledge of WCAG
Yeah.
and Section 508.
Right.
What can you do in those last few minutes of the interview to really seal the deal? One of the simplest but most effective strategies is to have some insightful questions ready
Click.
for the interviewer.
Makes sense.
It shows that you're genuinely curious and have been thinking deeply about the role and the company.
The RoleCatcher Interview Guide
Yeah.
actually has a whole section
It does.
dedicated to this.
Yeah, right. It's not just about asking any question.
Right.
It's about asking the right questions.
Okay, so instead of asking something generic like, what's the company culture like?
Yeah,
You got to dig a little deeper.
exactly.
So maybe ask about their approach to sustainability
Okay.
in digital prototyping,
Uh-huh.
or how they foster collaboration between the designers and developers.
That's a good one.
The guide also suggests asking about specific projects
Yeah,
or initiatives that you're really excited about.
I like that.
So it's about showing them you've done your research
Yeah,
and are eager to contribute.
exactly. And here's a pro tip.
Okay?
Use RoleCatcher's AI to help you tailor those questions to the company and role.
Yeah.
Input some keywords from the job description,
Yep.
and the AI suggests questions that align with their priorities.
So it's like having a secret decoder ring
Yeah, exactly.
for the interview.
Yeah.
Amazing. Okay, so you've asked your insightful questions.
All right.
You've thanked the interviewer for their time. You've even resisted the urge to ask about salary expectations.
Right.
Remember, save that for later.
Later.
What's the final step?
Follow up with a thank you note.
Yeah.
It seems old-fashioned, but trust me, it makes a difference.
Okay.
And don't just send a generic email.
Right?
Personalize it.
Sure.
Mention something specific from the interview.
Mm.
Reiterate your enthusiasm for the role.
Okay.
And maybe even offer to answer any further questions.
So it's about showing them.
Mm-hmm.
You're not just going through the motions.
Yeah.
You're really invested.
Exactly. And here's another place where RoleCatcher's AI can help. It can analyze your thank you note, suggest improvements to the tone and wording, and even flag any potential faux pas.
So it's like having a virtual etiquette coach in your corner.
Exactly.
So we're wrapping up this deep dive. I want to leave our listeners with one final thought.
Okay.
You've learned so much about digital prototyping.
Yeah.
You've practiced answering the tough questions. You've even discovered how RoleCatcher's AI can help supercharge your interview prep.
Totally.
But the most important ingredient in all of this is you. Your passion.
Yeah.
Your creativity. Your unique skills.
Right.
Those are the things that will really make you stand out.
Absolutely.
Let's go into that interview with confidence.
Yeah.
Showcase your best self.
I love it.
And remember, the future of fashion is waiting for you to shape it.
It is.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Best of luck on your journey to becoming a digital prototyper.